Mission 1, Summer Southbound. So hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome to Southbound Games Train Sim Mod 2. Driving the first scenario of the Island line today, the all-new route released by Rivet Games. And yeah, it should be a good one today. So, taking control of the Class 483, the former London Underground's 1938 stock. And yeah, like I say, it's a run of the Island line, starting at Ryde Rail, stopping at all stations down to Shanklin. Route surf's about 30 minutes long, so not too long for us today. And yeah, certainly a fair bit going for us, especially as we set up the old age loco. So let's set it all up and get it ready to run today. Master key in, unlock the passenger doors, which you can do by pressing the door unlock button. Although in reality there'd be a guard at the back of the train that controls all of that. So for example, if I go to the passenger compartment, head over to the guards control panel and unlock doors on the left. So there we go, all doors open. Passengers, when now arriving, will then board the train through that. So door panel does work in this, which is great to see. Although, for the sake of this video, since, well, again, we should already have a guard on this train, although on this occasion we don't. We'll just be using the tab menu to do all of that. Right. First in, train in forward 1, brake sets to EP max, master controller currently off. We'll turn on the instrument lights and the headlights. No need of cab lights, we'll leave those off. Otherwise that should be everything ready for us to go now. So, lock the doors. And let's now depart. Train brake to released. And master controller to full series. Next station, Ryde Rail. Don't go too fast, say 15 mph speed limits here on the pier. Yes, taking control of the good old Class 483. So, built in the 1930s for London Underground. These served on the Northern Line primarily, while seeing some service on the Bakerloo line towards the later stage of life. And then in the 1980s, 4 sets were transferred to the Island line. So before, you had the Class 482s, I believe. Nope, sorry, it was the 485s and the 486s that used to run the Island line. And so those were former London Underground standard stock trains that were built in the 1910s and 20s. So these replaced those, and are still in active operations to this day. So by far the oldest rolling stock in the United Kingdom. It's about 80 years old now. And as it stands, will almost certainly be retired by the end of the decade. So they're currently being replaced by the Viva train, the former D-stock trains. And yeah, we'll see how much life these get left really. So certainly long-lasting locomotives. A train that I have had the fortune of actually riding once as well. Not on the Island line per se, but doing a heritage run of the Districts line. I've done a video on that as well. I'd like to visit the Island line at some point. I do plan to, because I've also got a friend who volunteers down at the Isle of Wight's Railway. And therefore, I'm planning all out right now a trip to actually ride the real-life train. But as it stands, doing a standard run of it today. And yeah, it should work out quite well for us. So, Ryde Esplanade, next station will be Ryde St John's. Following Smallbrook Junction, where you can then change onto the steam railway. Then you've got Brading, Sandown, Lake, and then Shanklin, where this train terminates. Get ready to pass in a couple of moments. Last few passengers left aboard. Lock the doors. Door lock in place. Signal glows green. Let's get going. So, brakes off, and master control to the full series. So as we leave the ride area, speed limit does start to increase for us, but what we're going to do now is head over to the left-hand tracks. So to our right, all the track here, on our right, on our left, whatever, is now abandoned. Trains haven't operated on that in years unless, for example, enduring works requires it. Otherwise, well, we do pass a few trains on the line, so generally there are 2 trains operating at any time on the island line, although in recent times it's been down to 1, in some cases 0, because again these trains are so old now that they are starting to fail now, so generally you have 2 running, sometimes down to 1, and as I also say, 4 trains were sent down to the island line, 3 of them still, well, 2 of them still operational. One of them is currently down for repairs and will probably never see service again. And the 4th one is cannibalised, so no longer operates, being stripped for parts. Yes, we see that in operation ever again. And likewise, with the island line, it's standard gauge track, but narrow gauge clearance. So as a result, trains are slightly narrower than their mainline counterparts on the mainland UK. As a result, they are limited to narrow gauge trains. Therefore, the London Underground is perfect for this because they're not full body, not full width, and therefore they can fit for all the narrow clearings. And while originally operated with steam locomotives, transferred to the standard stock, now 1938 stock, and will soon use the former district line stock. I think the plan is also to make a way of the third rail at some point and start operating the trains with battery locomotives instead. So the Viva trains are configured to run on battery power only, and therefore at some point we see the transfer of that as well. It should be good. Should be good. Currently see Loco 004 in the Alt Network Southeast livery there, so unfortunately we don't have the current colours of the train, which is the original maroon red London Underground with a yellow front to follow National Railway guidelines, which used to be in place but no longer. I think it was earlier this year or late last year they actually changed the ruling, therefore trains are no longer required to have a yellow front. There we go. Train comes to a halt. Doors unlock. Unlock lefts. So here we are at Ryde St John's, and it's here they maintain these trains. So this is the main depot. This is where they maintain trains, build them all, fix them all, keep them all operating and running. A few facility upgrades on the way as well to cater for the new Viva trains, but as you can see, a lot of the island line is very much of the then. A lot of facilities not quite up to scratch, and again, with the edge of the trains, it's all pretty much built for 1930s rolling stock. The majority of the island is covered by a bus service. The island line used to spread all throughout the island, but as time went on, less and less railways needed, less people used stations, so during the beaching cuts, virtually all of it was lost, apart from the short section from Ryde Pierhead to Shanklin. And while I believe there are plans in place to potentially upgrade the island line and bring back some of the former network, almost certainly not going to happen. She's a tiny little 2-car train there. No, I like it. I like it. It's a great train to drive. A lot of fun to run around. And yeah, the Rivet Games add-on genuinely is fantastic. Yeah, so we do stop at Smallbridge Junction. It goes via location, line 2, and platform, yeah, makes sense. Right, up to 45 miles per hour, speed limit now. Cool, there we go. Bit of jump of power there. I must say, actually, for the first third-party route release, sound the whistle. For the first third-party route release, Rivet Games have really shown that, well, there's a lot to be excited for in the future. yellow signal, which means the next one's going to be red. We are following mainline signalling on this section, so we'll cut the power, potentially bring train to a halt. But I can see that there's a station before us, so yeah, that signal there looks to be a repeater. And therefore we should be able to... No, sorry. Go via location. That's distance, that makes sense. If there's no oncoming traffic, that should turn green for us. Yes, it is. It's for two things. One's for oncoming traffic, and the other one is also for the point work with the steam railway, which in this case no longer exists. It's now a fence off bit of track to the left there. So it's at this station here, small junction, we can change over to the steam railway. The mainline line goes down to a single track, and during Heritage Days you can get a direct connection to the rest of the railway. Right, come to a halt. Doors unlock. Unlock rights. Now, one thing I have done, which is certainly a lot of fun, is actually I've ridden 38 stock down on the Bakerloo line. So, in the sim, of course, not in real life. The only real life line I've done in this is the Districts line, sorry. Started off at Ealing Broadway, did the loop, ended up at Moorgate. So, yes. With the sim, with the off-rails mode, it's possible to run the 483, the 38 stock, on the Bakerloo line. And as a result, you can run the former stock on the former line. Back then, it was part of the... it was part of the... It was a Metropolitan, it was... I'm trying to think, no, Bakerloo line was always Bakerloo line. Because I know the Jubilee line came from the Metropolitan line, Stanmore branch, certainly. The Victoria line came from a former... What's it called? Former National Rail line. It forms part of the original not North London line. The former London North London line that went up to Finsbury Park. That forms part of that. So a lot of London Underground lines are loaner lines of other railways and all that. But as time goes on, it all merges in, and ultimately creates London Underground as we know it today. I mean, there are talks to split the northern line into two halves. So you have the northern line and potentially like the southern line, where it splits off into... Well, it splits off at Kennington. So you have the new branch line that goes over to Battersea Power Station. Sorry, Battersea Power Station Station, as it's officially known as. And then you've got the normal original line as well. So potentially we'll see a split in the northern line. And also an extension to Clapham Junction, which is also another potential as well. Like I said, there's a lot coming in with the Future Underground. There's a lot of changes, a lot of new routes, a lot of new lines and all that. It's never changing map. 20 years ago, there was no Victoria line. Sorry. Yeah, 20 years ago, no Victoria line. 25 years ago, there was... Sorry, I lie. 20 years ago, there's no Jubilee line extension to Stratford. 25 years ago, there's no DLR. And then you got Jubilee line in the 1960s. Just never changing map. Right, next station is Brading, about 1.5 miles. So the gap between Brading and Smallbrook Junction, I believe, is the longest distance without any intermediate stations in between. So 1.3% downhill gradient, so you need to be relatively careful on the brakes there. Down to 40 miles per hour. There we go, 1 mile to go. Now, unlike mainline trains and other routes, this is still very much an underground train at heart, so in terms of braking, in terms of acceleration, there's not much for me to redo. I enter platform at 40, and the brakes will bring us down to 0 in no time. If I was going like 100 miles per hour, start braking now, and adjust everything for the approach. But it's a very, very easy train to drive this. It's ancient, it's old, but at the end of the day, it is just an underground train. Sound the whistle again for the next pedestrian crossing coming up. And I believe there's another one just past the platform as well here at Brading. Sound the whistle. Down to 20 now. And there we go. So hit the brakes, bring train to a halt. So you can see the former abandoned platform there at Brading on the left hand side. Still accessible by passengers. You can use the footbridge across the other side, as it also forms as an exit point to leave the station. So again, back when the line was much grander, had a lot more going for it. You had 2 track lines. Now down to a single track. For the majority of its routes. Right, doors unlocked. And open right. In terms of collectibles, in his route you've got ice creams, ticket checks to void, and, well, standard maps as well. So those are the main 3 things to check. Also you got Polaroid cameras as well to take photos of the line up and down the map. So almost on the boarding here now at Brading. We have 3 more stops: Sandown, Lake and Shanklin. And after that, train terminates. And still a whole line about 30 minutes. I mean, it's an 8-mile stretch to track this, so it's not exactly the longest bit of track in the world. But still, with the speed limits in place, still a good 30 minutes to get from A to B. Right, doors. Oh, sorry, brakes off. 4 series, master control. Sound whistle again, so it's about to cross over the crossing there. A little bit of kind of power line there. So, like the normal Delta game stuff, Rivet Games have also got the proper third rail simulation, including sections where if there's a gap in the power line, the carriage will not get power, and therefore there's like a jump in the systems there. So very well done to route this, I must say. It's a great little train. Very, very nicely built indeed. Certainly a lot of fun for us to play with. Even the window, you got the proper little leather strap there which holds the window up in place. You have to pull that down first before bring the window down. Very nicely done. And it does bring back memories of riding the train itself on the digital line last year. Right, it's got to 45 now, so get ready to bring it off the power there. Lots of fun to be had. Next station, Sandown Platform 2. Sandown Station also serves the local airport here on the island. Little more power, and it's starting to lose it on the the uphill stretch now. No signal, which means the following will be red. Look at this, since the signal is located off the platform, and therefore we'll stop the station beforehand. That's 15. There's the other train now, so we're going to use the passing loop here at Sandown. So now that train's passed us, and they have a clear line all the way to Ryde Rail Head, and therefore we now have all the line clear all the way to Shanklin. And generally never see more than 2 trains operating on this line. So there you go, we've cleared it, they're now departing, and actually running a forecast set, I must say, as well. That very rarely happens, I must say. When it does, generally during like event days when I therefore need the extra capacity, because that means all 3 working trains now running the line, and therefore the only train that's not operating right now is the scrap train. Unlock left. And let's jump outside now. If I can get out. Nope, door's locked. Okay, we'll go via the passenger section then. Let's go throughout that map. So it's a relatively short route, like I say. We're currently down at Sandown. We have 2 more stops ahead of us, Lake and Shanklin, before we pull into to finish. In order to get in, you have to use the C key to crouch down to fit through a door, because again it's just such a low-rise train here. Although one thing I have noted as well, running it alongside the Bakerloo line, the 1938 stock, this train is smaller than the 1972 stock, so it's smaller, it's thinner, narrower, but the floor base where the doors are, the passengers on board, is about an inch or 2 higher than that of the Bakerloo line, so therefore it requires a slightly higher platform, like I say, by an inch or 2. And yeah, it's one of those little things that you never really notice. As a result, it means that the cabin in this train, or this passenger cabin, is tiny, minute compared to anything else. But the attention to detail, truly fantastic with this. It's a grotty old train, this. You do really get that feeling with Train to Old Island line. It's just a grotty old train. Right, that's 15. Sound the whistle. And then up to 45 as soon as the points are complete. If it's on another round, we'd start speeding up now, because the front train's past the sign. That's for main line. It's always when the rear of the train passes the speed limit change. Next station, Lake. Slightly uphill stretch again, 1.3% grade, which is about the most you ever see on this line. Up now 1.3. Going uphill, train does start to lag a little bit behind in terms of power outputs. Anyway, 600 yards to go now. Not long till we stop at the next station. Actually, at one point, a station here. Looking at the stairs all up there. Right. Station's visible. Start slowing us down, shall we? There we go. Doors unlocked. Unlock left. Oops. Yeah, narrow platforms there. Therefore passengers do bump along one another when they decide to leave. I must say, the whole AI here as well, very nicely done. It's a good route, this. A lot of fun to be had. What are you all congregating for? What's over there? So interesting to watch. Right, so let's get ready to close the doors. Lock the left. Door lock. Brakes off. And let's get going. Next station, Shanklin, where this train terminates. Ooh, good boy. Doesn't very happen. Jump on the world there. There we go. So up to full parallel now. Train will continue to increase speed. About half mile to Shanklin now. Where's the other train gone? That's well up, so there you go. So currently passing through, we're coming towards Smallbrook Junction there, so it's between Smallbrook and Brayling. Right, so we'll cut off the power now. It's downhill the rest of the way, so no need to introduce any more throttle and last controller. In a couple of moments, starts introduce some braking before we go too fast, and therefore don't want to overrun this station. Buffers at the end. The line used to continue on further, but over the years they cut back the line. Buffers introduced, and now houses built in the road ahead. And there we are. Welcome to Shanklin. So unlock the doors, let passengers disembark when need be. Brake sets to max. Master controller off. Reverser off and removed. Key we shall remove, turn off the headlights, instrument lights can come off as well. With that, sorry, keep those unlocked perhaps. And with that, we can now change ends and then make our way to the rear cab for our return journey. Yeah, like I say, it's a fun little route, this Yarn line. It's not the longest. Scenery-wise, there's a lot to look at. The train itself, a lot of fun to drive. And yeah, so there's a lot of enjoyment you can get out of this one. Once it's locked doors, that's no problem. We shall do that from the guards panel, shall we? Oh, sorry, and the handbrake. Can't forget the handbrake. It's a well, not horrible, it's a rusty old system, that. Oh boy, got ourselves locked out. Okay, go for the front. Yes, this here, the handbrake. It's a proper, good old clunky setup. Set the handbrake device to fully applied. There we go. Set driver's brake to Westinghouse hold. And there we have it. End of the line. So, not a bad one, that's. That's level 5 on the 483, level 5 on the island, 20 on the character, and in terms of stopping accuracy, not looking too bad. At the end of the day, especially with a 2-car train, long platforms that can fit 4 cars, you're not going to have any problems stopping. Speed limit wise, a little bit over towards the midpoint there, but again, nothing too major, nothing that's going to cause any problems. Overall, a very successful run, that's. So, yeah, that brings us now to the end of our first run here in the Island Line, Summer Southbound. Tomorrow, we'll do the Northbound at night, so do stick around for that one. Otherwise, thank you for watching, you guys take care, and I shall see you again in the very near future. Take care, and goodbye.